Good morning, students. We are learning lesson number 11, India Transforming Part 1. In this lesson, we have discussed transformation of India after independence in different fields. We talk about communication field, finance field, different yojana in village area as well as in urban area. Now we are going to move towards the next point, which is development of science and technology in India. Now in this point today we are going to see some of the instances, means examples of significance which are mentioned in this part. With the help of that examples we come to know about India's development in India after its independence. Now student, after independence Jawaharlal Nehru, he initiated reforms to promote higher education as well as science and technology in India. The Indian Institute of Technology, which is known as IIT, it conceived by a 22 members committee of scholars and entrepreneurs in order to promote technical education, which was inaugurated on 18th August 1951 at Kharagpur in West Bengal by the Minister of Education Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. More IITs were soon opened in Bombay, Madras, Kanpur and Delhi, as well as in the late 1950 and early 1960. Beginning in the 1960s, close ties with the Soviet Union, which was enabled the Indian Space Research Organization ISRO to rapidly develop the Indian space program and advance nuclear power in India. Even after the first nuclear test explosion by India on 18th May 1974 at Pokhran. So now we are going to talk about some of the examples of science and technology in India. First development which we had made in science and technology, it was a supercomputer which was named as Param 8000, which was created with the help of CDAC, means Center for Development Advanced Computing in Pune. So what is this Param? Student, actually this Param is a series of supercomputers which is designed and assembled by the Center for Development of Advanced Computing CDAC in Pune, India. Param, here only we get the meaning of the name. Param means supreme and it is in Sanskrit language. If we talk about Param 8000, Param 8000, it was the first machine in the series and which was built from scratch. Param 8000, it was made, which was named as Param 10,000. It was the version of Param 8000 and its mathematical potential, it was huge, enormous, large, because of which India entered in the global computer market. India won its place among the leading countries with the high technological know-how of computer making. In 1999, a project of creating still further version of Param 10,000 it was undertaken. So means first supercomputer, it was known as Param. After that it was taken over by Param 8000 and finally Param 10,000. This computer, it was also known as Param Padma. Param Padma supercomputer, which was dedicated to the nation in 2003. So like this, Param 9000, Param 8600, Param 10,000, Param Padma, Param Yuva 2, Param Ishan, Param Brahma, so many supercomputers were made by Science and Technological Department of India, which helps to contribute itself in the development of India. Now here what happened, Indian software industry, it was benefited because of the policy of liberalization. Now the companies, they were getting their freedom, their liberty to make any products, and it was benefited to India. The central government favorable policies for software industries, foresightness of Indian entrepreneurs, the national widespread of computers and IT computer engineers who are also proficient in the use of English language resulted in tremendous increase in the Indian exports of software. And because of this, what happened, our export percentage, it increased from 3.2 to 25%. Now next pen term in science and technology field, it is IT. IT in 1995, interest services began in Indian metropolises. In 2004, Tata Consultancy was the biggest firm in Asia providing software services. Student, you know that Pune and Bengaluru already they are developed as information technology, which are also known as IT hubs. So India's IT service industry, it was born in Mumbai in 1967 with the creation of Tata Consultancy Services, who in 1977 they were the partners which began India's exports of IT services. And if we take today's example, so India's IT engineers, they are in very great demand all over the world. The job opportunities are available to these IT engineers in all over the world. And the population in India, most of the population, they are using internet services rapidly. Today also in this pandemic situation, students, we are taking help of IT, information technology, we are learning at home. So this thing, learning and teaching process, it is possible because of IT only. That's why it plays very important role in science and technology field. Now if we talk about the science field, so India proved its nuclear strength, which conducted underground nuclear tests 2 times at Pokhran in Rajasthan. The Indian satellite, here you can see the Indian satellite OceanSat first, which was launched and entered the orbit in 1999 to collect oceanographic information, means the information which is related to ocean and the sea coast. So this Indian satellite, it was launched and it was entered in 1999. With the help of this satellite, we could get the information about oceans and sea. Next in 2000, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, which is also known as BSNL, it was established to provide services like cellular phone, means the mobile phones, internets and the broadband. BSNL, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, it is an Indian state-owned telecommunications company, which headquarter it is in New Delhi, India. It was incorporated by Department of Telecommunication, Ministry of Communication, Government of India on 1st October 2000. Student, it provides mobile voice and internet services through its national wide telecommunication network across India. and it is the largest wireline telecommunication network company in India with more than 60% of market share and fourth largest wireless communication operator. So student, BSNL, it is the India's oldest communication company and its history can be traced back to British India. Now next we are going to talk about Chandrayaan 1, which all are familiar with. Chandrayaan 1, it was the first Indian lunar probe under Chandrayaan program and it was launched by ISRO, means Indian Space Research Organization, in October 2008. It was operated until August 2009 and the mission, it included a lunar orbit and an impactor. India launched the spacecraft using PSLV XL rocket on 22nd October 2008. Now in 2007, India it entered into the new field of space research and India launched the Italian satellite. Other nations have submitted tenders quoting very high rates to get this contract. However, India got this contract by quoting reasonable rates. India earned considerable profit through the Italian contracts, and before entering this field on commercial basis, India had already successfully launched satellites of Argentina, Belgium, South Korea, Indonesia and Germany. And as we talked that in 2008, India launched its Chandrayaan first, the first lunar probe. Through the information which was sent by Chandrayaan 1, India could collect evidence for the presence of water which was available on the moon. So after that, India also launched Chandrayaan 2 and the Mangalayaan. So student, Chandrayaan 2, it is the second lunar exploration mission which was developed by ISRO after Chandrayaan 1. As of September 2019, it consists of lunar orbiter and also included the Vikram, which was lander, and the program lunar rover, all of which were developed in India. The main scientific objective is to map and study the variations in lunar surface composition as well as the location of evidence of lunar water, means the moon water, which is available on the moon. Now next we are going to move, that is the next point, 11.6, defense area. Now we are going to talk about the development which was done by India in defense area. In 1999 Pakistan, we know that Pakistan entered in Kashmir, and because of this entrance it was caused a war between India and Pakistan, and this war it was fought in the Kargil Drasa area in Ladakh, and hence it was known as Kargil war. Okay, so here we are going to see some information about this Kargil war. So the Kargil war, which was also known as Kargil conflict, which was armed conflict between the India and Pakistan that took place between May and July 1999 in Kargil district of Kashmir. everywhere along the line of control, which is also known as LOC. In India, the conflict is also referred as the Operation Vijay. Vijay means victory, which was the name of the Indian operation to clear Kargil sector. The Indian Air Force roles in acting jointly with Indian Army ground troops during the war was aimed at flushing out regular and irregular troops of Pakistani army from vacated Indian position in Kargil sector along the LOC. This particular operation was given the code name Operation Safed Sagar, means Operation White Sea. Now here the cause of the war, it was the infiltration of Pakistani soldiers who disguised themselves as Kashmiri militants into positions on the Indian sides of the LOC, and which serve as the de facto border between the two states. During the initial stages of war, Pakistan blamed the fighting entirely on independent Kashmiri insurgents, but documents left behind by casualties and later statement was Pakistan Prime Minister and Chief of Army Staff, which was showed involvement of Pakistani paramilitary forces, which was led by General Arshad Rasid. So here the Indian Army, later they supported by Indian Air Force and recaptured a majority of the position on Indian side of LOC, infiltrated by Pakistani troops and militants. And this war was alerted the Indian authorities for modernization of Indian military. Process of updating the military equipments and arm training etc. all things were further intensified because of this Kargil war. Now student, next is in 2009 India successfully built a strategic strike nuclear submarine of Arihant class. So what is this Arihant class? Actually the Arihant class, it is a Sanskrit name. It is a class of nuclear powered basaltic missile submarines which was built for the Indian Navy. They were developed under the near about 90 crore advanced technology vessels project to design and to build nuclear powered submarines. These vessels are classified as strategic strike nuclear submarines by India, and this the lead vessels of the class Arihant, it was launched in 2009, and after extensive sea trials it was confirmed to be commissioned in August 2016. Now in December 1971, during the Indo-Pakistan War of 1971, US President Richard, he sent a carrier battle group named Task Force, which was led by nuclear power USS into the international waters of Bay of Bengal in the show of force. So this Task Force 74 remained in international waters where it was legally entitled to be. The records of Nixon communications show no contingency nor any plan under which enterprises would enter into Pakistan or Indian waters or otherwise intervene in the conflict. And it responds the Soviet Union to send a submarine arm with a nuclear missiles. The Indian Navy's Advanced Technology Vessel project to design and to construct a nuclear submarine took shape in This was the first nuclear submarine built in India, and its first patrol round it was complete with Russia's cooperation. So here India has taken help of Russia's to complete its first round. India it ranks 6th in the world to develop this technology of building nuclear submarines, and the Indian government had involved private Indian entrepreneurship too in this project. Okay, so student, today we are going to stop here. Today let revise that today we learn about science and technology, the transformation which happened in the field of science and technology. So from that we talk about some of the supercomputers like Param 8000, 10,000, Param Padma, and then we talk about some satellite, the information technology, the development of information technology, IT hubs, and the satellites like Chandrayaan, Italian satellite, Chandrayaan 1 and Chandrayaan 2. And then we talk about defense affairs, the development which happened in defense area of India after especially the war between India and Pakistan, which was known as Kargil war. So after that India they felt that there is a need of modernization of Indian military, and from that point India built its strong military force equipments and arm and training centers. Okay, so in the next lecture we are going to continue with this point only. This point is not finished yet. Thank you and have a nice day.